Hi everybody, it's Monday morning finish line. It's September 23rd, first day of autumn I think. I don't know. End of the baseball season, thank God. Football season, go Bears tonight. Wow. So I'm getting ready to go down to Peoria for the Richard Spring Invitational. We're going to talk a lot about that today, so and we'll talk a few other meets too. Will I? Yeah, I will. I have my clipboard here. Yeah, it's a long weekend. And I'm looking at the forecast. Monsoons, thunderstorms, tornadoes, hurricanes. So I'm like, well, I think I better pack my rain gear. And I got down there, driving down. The sun's almost ready to rise. The sun was supposed to rise, it was behind clouds. And it starts to rain. I'm like, well, here we go. You know, you prepare for those things. There's different things that I plan for, recording and everything else. And so it was like a gentle rain on and off at Detweiler. I got there about 7, and it rained a little bit harder. I had to get the umbrella out and everything else. And then I see a former teammate of mine, well, teammate for life, Eric Simon. He's the Oswego girls coach. He's like, Nooms, what are we going to do? I'm like, it's a cross country. It's up to the cross country gods. They'll take care of us. They know this is going to be a good meet. They'll take care of us. I've said that a number of times. There's been a few times where it's poured even harder, and the course has been like a swamp. But I had this feeling that the cross-country gods were with us this weekend. And they weren't. It stopped raining about 8:30. And the conditions were pretty good. Some slick spots somewhere in the course. But you can't have disbelief in the cross-country gods. Always believe in the cross-country gods, because you know what? They'll know. They'll know. For example, try to tie your shoe at the end of the race so that you don't finish first. The cross-country gods will know. They'll give you an injury where you'll miss half the season. Those cross-country gods know. Plagiarize something. Cross-country gods know. I was trying to be funny. I think once it stopped raining and the cross-off girls race went off and the conditions were pretty good, times were pretty fast in that first race, and then Katelynne Hart stepped to the line and she ran the 3rd fastest time ever at Detweiler. She has 2 of the 3 fastest times. She ran, well, we'll get into that. Before we start talking about the race, here's the interview that I did with Katelynne after the race on Saturday.
Set a meet record. You ran 16:14 here last year, and you didn't need a GPS. You didn't get lost today. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it's funny. I was talking to somebody last night, and they were saying like, oh, because on my Hornet Red Devil, I got lost.
Right.
And they're like, you know, hopefully you don't get lost or something along those lines. And I was like, well, if I get lost at Detweiler, wouldn't be too bad.
A little bit surprised that certs went out that hard.
Yeah, you know, I was kind of just actually trying to get in my zone. Mr. Haas actually had us watch the race from last year, and there were a couple girls actually that went out ahead of me the first 400 meters. So I was actually expecting that, and I wasn't sure who was behind me. I could kind of hear people, but yeah, I didn't know that she went out that hard, but it's awesome.
Now, I'm not going to say the happy feet thing, but you looked very comfortable at 2:31 at the half and then 5:10 at the mile. Did it feel that comfortable?
Yeah, you know, Mr. Haas and I had talked about, like, I think at a Hornet I was like 5:16 at the mile, so I was actually hoping to do the same here so I could be a little bit stronger, because I think last year here my splits were like 5:10, and then I was like 10:42 at the 2 mile, and then my last mile was like 5:35, so I was really hoping to be more even. He's like, but if you see 5:10 at the mile, don't freak out, because I think you're in better shape than last year. So I saw it, and I was like, okay, just got to work through the 2nd and 3rd mile and do my best.
2nd mile was even. I mean, it was close to even. I mean, you were like 10:28 at 2 mile. Coming up the hill the 2nd time, how are you feeling?
I felt pretty good. You know, the wind was against you on the hill coming up, so I just, you know, I kind of look at Detweiler as like 3 hills. I got to get up the 3 hills. So yeah, I just was trying to push as hard as I can and see my 2-mile split, and I knew I just had to give it all I had the last mile.
Did you have any time goal? I mean, you were on pace for course record. Any time goals coming in, or just see where you came out?
Yeah, you know, well, first I think and foremost, I was hoping to be better than I was last year. But I think too, like I looked at the radar last night and it looked like there was going to be some rain, so I didn't know how the course was going to be. So then,
how was the course? I mean, we had a little bit of rain, but not much.
Yeah, I mean the turns were a little sloppy, but I mean it wasn't too bad. Obviously not like what ideal or whatever, but it wasn't definitely not too bad. But yeah, so I was hoping to be faster than last year, and then so I was happy with how it went, and obviously get the starting point.
And your mom said that you looked at the times comparison from here to state. It's like 14, 15 seconds difference, right?
Yes. So.
Yeah, I could see your eyes kind of widened a little bit there. I think you're going to do some special things in November. College choices, are you getting close?
I'm hoping to decide by like mid-October.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a fun thing. It's a little stressful, but it's fun.
Yeah.
So, man, think about this. She runs 16:14 last year at this meet. Runs 15:59 at state. She runs 16 flat on Saturday. What is she going to run at state? She's in better shape than she was in last year. That's what her coach said. And I think you can tell. When she went by me at 2 miles, or past me, you know, right at the finish line, past 2 miles, she went through in about 10:32, and she really looked good. I mean, very smooth. Her arm swing, everything, you know, it didn't look like she was pushing it, but yet she was going. She just missed going under 16 minutes. She'll get that chance one more time at state on November 9th. Hopefully the cross-country gods say no, we're not going to put snow on at Detweiler. Who knows? So, kind of interesting. I asked her about Leanna Sertz and Ava Perek going out fast, but the same thing happened last year. Hart had the lead by like 500 meters in by the turn, and then she 2:31 at the half, 5:12 at the mile, I think it was, but she looked good. You saw in the interview, her coach talked about not freaking out seeing that time, so she's getting more comfortable going out in that fast pace, and it showed in the race. Sertz running 16:44, ran like 15 seconds faster than she did a year ago. Ava Perek, who was really pissed off, and she was, after last week at first to the finish running 17:07, she comes back, she was happy afterwards, running 16:53. So she'll run at Loyola next weekend, then she's going to be at Naperville Twilight with her teammate Marianne Mijas. Marianne should be back soon. She started training again. That's what one of her coaches, Jim Spivey, said. So close. We'll get to see Marianne soon. That'll be fun to see her race. 4 runners under 17 minutes. Samantha Poglish fourth, 16:59. She was in 6th for most of the race, and she really moves the last half. 16:59 underneath. Then Alice Abbott, 17:06. Ali Negovetic, 17:22. And then I really wanted to mention Ashley Heidenrich of Wabansie Valley, 17:25. I'm watching the race, I'm like, wow, she's up there. But I've seen her run, I saw her run at Detweiler at dark, and then I saw her run at Aurora, and she was up there. And she's really improved, and she's going to be a runner that may be in the top 15 this year. Time will tell. We're in September. We're getting towards the end of September, so that's a good indicator. Team-wise, Downersgrove South, 95 points. And we'll talk about they have a short week this week. They fly out to Arizona, and we'll see how they do against some of those West Coast teams, the untouchable West Coast teams. Oh God. 95 points. Verona Cahoon 10th, Erin Reedy 12th, Sophia McInerney 15th. They had a 5-second split on the first 3 runners from 10th to 15th. And then oh God, Kennedy. Kennedy Weldon, Wien, whatever, 30th, and Alex Sprague, 33. They had a 44-second split on 5. So they won by almost 100 points. And I was kind of interested because they've had some injuries with Kennedy Warden and with Rebecca Didia. Kennedy's moving up slower, but the improvement of the 2 sophomores has really helped them. So we will see what they do. Glenbard West, 191 points. There are 2 sophomores that I wrote about in the preview. Moved up. They were 3 in the top 31 with Hart up there, so that's good. Claremont, California, 3rd, 212 points. Hinsdale Central didn't have their best race, still got 4th. I think they had a 31-second split on the first 4 runners. 5th runner was farther back. It wasn't as good of a race as Hornet Red Devil 2 weeks prior, but it's September, so you're not going to run great every week. And then York didn't run a great pack race. They had Berger, their freshman, up front, and then their pack was back a little bit. They were together, but 255 points. Then Oswego ran a pretty good race at 300 points. Wheaton Warrenville South at 308 points in 7th. Didn't run their best race of the season, but it's not November 9th, so that's about it. On the boys' side, that boys' race that varsity race was great. Josh Methner won it in 14:12. Let's watch the interview that we did with Josh.
It's Mike Newman from Dystat, Josh Methner, 14:12.6. Only a second off of his state time last year. Had a great race, winning here. I think it's a meet record too. Congratulations.
Thank you, yeah, I appreciate it.
Weather-wise, all these weather forecasts this morning saying it's going to rain, it's going to be terrible. So what's going through your head coming down here this morning?
I didn't really look at the weather until my coach started talking about it, so like everyone has to deal with this, so I was ready for anything.
Were you expecting that fast of a pace for the first mile? You were about 2:12 at the half, about 4:37, 4:30 at the mile. How did you feel? Did you expect that kind of a pace?
Yeah, I expected it to be that fast, and I knew all the kids up front would be there, so it played out how I wanted, or like how I thought it would in the first.
How did everything started to separate a little bit in the triangle? Who made the first move? Was it you or was it Brett or?
After the mile, Brett looked at me and he was like, "Let's do this." So I just nodded at him. We just went from there.
And then about 9:30 at 2 miles. What's going through your head in the final half mile? Because you guys are pushing each other to death. And
yeah, Brett, he made many moves, and I was just trying to cover him. So I was just waiting until it looked like he didn't have one left. That's why I went, really.
Did your training indicate that you were going to run this fast of a time today?
I've had really consistent training, more than I did like last year or any previous year. So I'm definitely confident about my fitness. I didn't think it would lead to this time, but I'm happy it did.
Hey, let's talk about your team too. Max in the top 10, ran super. Talk a little bit about your team.
Yeah, I think for Max, he's definitely in for top 10. That's definitely going to be a huge confidence booster for him. And then our next 4 guys, they're also aiming for top 20, top 30, top 50. So I'm pretty sure they all got that, which is really awesome.
Great job by your team. Yeah, go after your course record next week at Palatine too.
Yeah, that should be a fun race.
Josh, great job today. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So Methner, Brett Gardner of Lincoln Way East working together throughout the race. That was cool to see. But they were going after good times. They were going after fast times. They were 4:39 at the mile, about 9:31 at 2 miles, I want to say. And then they booked that last mile, 4:40 last mile for Methner. It shows what kind of shape he's in. Gardner about 2 seconds behind at 4:42. Gardner's really showed improvement over the last 3 or 4 months. He's running with a lot of confidence, and that's going to be fun to see. He's not. The next huge race for him will be his conference meet, because you have Jared Kreis, and you have Tyler Cushing, and you have the Giblin brothers from Sandburg. So the Southwest Suburban Conference doesn't get its dues, but they're a pretty good conference this year, especially with a lot of good individuals. So with Methner and Gardner working each other, watch the end of the race.
At 14 minutes right now, It's Methner, Gardner, at 14:07, 08, 09, 14, 10, 14, 11, 12. Methner, Gardner second. Holy smokes, he ran 14:11 last year at State.
So, great run. Methner ran 14:11 at State last year, runs about a second slower early this year, so you can tell what kind of shape he's in. And I think if State doesn't become a strategical cluster and they go out after it, we could see some real fast times in November. But we'll have to wait and see. St. Charles East, wow. What can we say about St. Charles East? Their coach, Chris Bosworth, after last year's state meet, they didn't run a great state meet. They were 5th. He made them go to the awards. Watched these teams get their trophies. Made them believe, showed them, you wanted to be up there. This is what it looks like. What are you going to do about this? And they've done a lot about it over the summer where they've worked their butts off and they look good. You have 5 guys in the top 20. 4 runners under 15 minutes. 5th runner at 15:03 with a 34-second split. Bobby Liking, he's really showed improvement. 14:29, he was 3rd in the race. Michael Wilson, 6th at about 42. In between with Novolovsky at 14:38, Jake Allen at 14:41, Wilson at 14:42. But then you have Schildmeyer in 13th, Aiden King 16th, and Zach Loomis 20th. They look good. And we said this last year about Wheaton Warrenville South at this time. They look good, but could they hold on? They held on. So, time will tell. St. Charles East will be back at Detweiler in 2 weeks for the Peoria Central invite. We'll see what they do there. They may use a different strategy. We don't know. I know, but any case, Sandberg second. Sandberg, nice pack. They had 4 guys together. 5th runner's a little bit back. They can work on that, getting him closer, but I think it was like a 40, 41, 42-second split off of the 2 Giblin brothers who were 10th and 11th overall. So, 114 points for Sandberg. Claremont, California, 160. Then Wheaton Warrenville South also had 160, but Claremont had a better 6th runner than Wheaton Warrenville South did. Billy Howenstein in the top 10. He was 8th overall. No Jacob Cluckhone. I don't know if he started the race. I'll have to go back and look at the videos. Or if he didn't finish. Haven't emailed their coach, but we'll see. So Wheaton Warrenville South, 160. Hersey, who'd only run 1 race prior to that, scored 170 points to get 5th. Top 10 finishes from Methner, and Max Sventny, who was, I think, 8th overall, really looked good during that race. So Hersey, they ran a Fenton. They didn't run against anybody. They didn't have to push hard. So this was their first pushing effort of the year. And the same can be said about York. What can I say? I won't say it. 223 points, 6th. They looked good the first half. Packed together about 452, 453, 454 together. They had a 2-second split at the 1.5 miles close together. And then, but it's September, first race of the season. I thought, well, maybe we'll see a little bit better. And it wasn't, but we're not running state tomorrow. So I heard that from Mr. Newton one time. We were at a summer race. Maine East put like 5 guys in before Dave Haller and myself. But we had run in the morning. We ran 16, 17 miles in the morning. We had a hard workout. Went over to try to race, and our legs were dead. And no excuses there. Mr. Newton came up to us. He's like, get your head up. He's like, luckily we don't run state tomorrow. And we came back, and we gave them a battle at state. So that's about it with Richard Spring. The conditions were great. No rain throughout it. Poured like heck in some stretches on the way home, but hey, it didn't rain during the races, so that's a cool thing. What else? I will also talk about Manuka quickly. Yorkville girls really look good. They look good. 10 points over Batavia, who had 16. Hey, and welcome back Katrina Schlenker. She was at first to the finish, saw her, and then talked to her coach later on. He said, yeah, she thought she was going to be running today. She was anxious. She wanted to. And she ran 18:12. Helena Claronimos of Yorkville, 18:19. But Yorkville winning some of those flights, they look good. And they don't have Kaylee Fox yet. Fox is starting to train again. She'll be back. We get to see them race at Terre Haute in 2 weeks. And it'll be interesting to see what they do against Beaver Creek. Beaver Creek looked really good a week ago at Michigan State. Boys race, Jared Crease took off at the beginning. Blew everybody away, won by 15 seconds. Excuse me. Ran 15:08 by himself, basically. Ian Geisler of Huntley second in 15:23. Bolingbrook was there. Tyler Cushing didn't race. Wabansie Valley. We talked a little bit about them last week. You can't say sneaky good about them. They're a good team. They won. Let's put it this way: they won Flight 2, Flight 3, Flight 4, Flight 5, and Wes Beitler was 5th overall in the championship flight. But you put all their times together, they only had like a 5, 6, 7 second split on those 4 guys running individually. So the one thing, they won 4 flights, 15 points ahead of Downers Grove North, who has a good pack, 22 points in Manuka. So Wabansie Valley, it's going to be interesting to see because Wabansie Valley has that tradition of improving at the end of the year. If they quit the silly stuff and run together as a team, and yes, guys, I know what's been going on. There's the big force in the world. It's not about me, it's about we. And you can accomplish a lot of things when you're working together in a race and you're not trying to do it individually. So you work together, you're talking to each other during the race. And that's just, that's one of the many things I've learned in my life in running is those kind of things. So Wabansie Valley looks pretty good. Clinton Central 1A, they're ranked number 8. They looked good in finishing 3rd in their classification at the Woodridge Cross Country Classic. Isaiah Ditta ran 15:03, 15:04, which is his fastest time ever. I'm going to get to that course length in a second. On the championship sweepstakes race, Dylan Blake ran 14:25, and Carter Shore ran 14:28 for Blake, 14:35 for Shore. And so I've always, that is just a wickedly fast course. I've never been there, I've never measured it, but when Nico Young, who's a great runner, runs 13:39, are you crazy? I'm gonna throw up, hold on. I'm gonna use a prop here. So, we've got, shenanigans flag. It's the shenanigans flag. 3 miles, come on, California. Like for sure, it's a 3-mile course. We just run fast, we breed fast runners in California, oh my God. Come on. I think they measured the course and they got to the finish 2.9, 2.91, 92, 93. Ooh. No. Let's round up to 3. Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll round up to 3. I don't know. I'm gonna get a call. I'll get a call from the ex-governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. I saw your Monday morning finish line. Didn't like it at all. I crushed you like a chicken bone. I don't know. It may be 3 miles. I don't know what the course is like. Is it downhill with a backwind going down a mine shaft? I don't know what the course is like. Maybe we'll send the Diestat crew that measured the Detweiler course a number of years ago. Their official cross-country specialist. Excuse me. I don't know. I don't know if it's 3 miles. It's fast. I mean, in the girls' race, Corey Smith ran 16:01 from Buchanan. She won the race. And at Nike Cross Nationals, let's get rid of this clipboard. I do need a clipboard. She finished 36 minutes. 36 minutes. It looked like that. 36 seconds behind Katelynne Hart, who had an off race. We know she had an off race at Nike Cross. And she runs 16:01. I know it's a fast course. I know. But it's one of those, it's things that make you go, So, I don't know. So, we'll see. We'll see how it develops as the year goes on and everything else. Speed ratings are usually blown out of proportion from that meet. But we'll see. Coming up this week, we've got Palatine Invitational. Love getting a t-shirt every year, getting my hat. I have a ton of hats around there. I'll display them next week when we're talking about Palatine. But should be a good meet. St. Louis University coming up. St. Xavier. You have York. Do they run better? Do they run their entire top 7 this week? Possibility is that they might. I don't know. You have Hersey, who finished ahead of York. You have Wheaton Warrenville South girls. They'll be looking to bounce back. Oswego will be there. Palatine ran good. Hey, Anne-Marie Jordan she got 40th in the race, but it was good to see her racing. Wow. She didn't think she was going to run again, and to get 40th and to be running with her teammates, that's so cool. But it'll be a great race. It'll be a great meet. We got Lakes coming in. We have Brooke Stromsland who's going to be racing. You have Molly Fitzpatrick. You have the York girls running there. York girls have been looking good this year. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll see the preview this week. Also a big week for out-of-state meets. Naperville North and Batavia head to Roy Griak this weekend. Leanna Sertz, Rosary, she's running at Griak this weekend. So it'll be interesting to see how they run against all those Heartland great runners. Also, Desert Twilight meet. Downers Grove South is going there for the first time. And they changed their schedule up. I mean, it's a short week. We were talking about that. Last year's top 3 finishers was Boise. Now they got third this past weekend behind 2 Utah schools at Bob Furman. They got third. Niwot got St. Vrain. They won last Saturday, packed it up over Battle Mountain. So it'll be interesting to see how Niwot compares with Downers Grove South. And you also have Desert Vista that has the Ping sisters and oh my gosh, they're the best thing since sliced bread. And I don't know. We'll see how everything turns out, but we'll probably be reading a preview later this week that features the West Coast schools. Maybe mentions Downers Grove South in a small paragraph. Do our talking on the course. That's the way it is. What other things did I want to talk about? East Peoria. No, there was somebody that put the new course map on, and they're like, "This is at Detweiler. This is a cow's head. Moo." And it's always called the Triangle. It hasn't been called the Bermuda Triangle. Though I wish that there would be some people to call it that would go into the Triangle and would never come back to Detweiler. But here, I found this. This is a map that I carried around my senior year in my one of my folders. But I would look at it before one of the classes and all that. But this is the old Detweiler Park course. Old York runner, the late Gary Goss, drew this map up. So look at this right here. Look at that. Now it looks like a rhombus, okay? But cut it across there and that little cross there. 2 triangles. 2 triangles. So it may not have the triangle shape. If you run on the course, when you're warming up on the course, you're gonna make the turn around the sign, and you're gonna go straight down the entrance road. And there's this huge oak tree. It was a lot smaller when I ran, but that's where we made the turn. There was only one entryway in and out of that triangle back then. And so I'm just, if you want to really, it's always going to be known as the triangle to me. You know, I know Detweiler so well. I only raced there 4 times. And somebody was asking me, so how many times did you run there? 4 times. I'm like, yeah, my average was pretty good. My time was pretty good. I think my fastest time was 14:47. You guys know that. But considering that my freshman year I was like 83rd in my conference meet, the freshman conference meet, I wasn't that good my freshman year, but hard work will do things. I know a lot. One person last year goes, "Oh man, you know every green of the course," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know every green of the park. I met a little more of the green of the course. Had another fall. I'm good, as you can tell. So it should be a big week ahead. The ITCA fall meeting in Elmhurst on Wednesday. If you're a coach, check that out. Then we go to Palatine. And it's North Central Homecoming this weekend. And get to meet up with a bunch of my college buddies. Relive old stories. Snort beer out of our nose laughing so hard. But those are the moments that you treasure. So it's going to be a good weekend, and then we get ready for a busy week ahead. But we get ready for a busy week every week. So rankings out on Tuesday. We will have national cross-country zone national rankings out Thursday afternoon sometime. And then previews for Palatine, the roadmap to the weekend. A lot of teams take this weekend off, but there's good meets. You have Palatine, you have Harvest Christian Academy has their mid-season meet. You have East Peoria. So it's going to be a fun week. So that's it. So till the next time that we talk and chat, or I see you on a cross-country course, this is Mike Newman from Monday Morning Finish Line. Have a super week, and we'll see you next Monday. Bye.